we just got a bunch of new cards revealed for the upcoming Temporal Forces set. So in this video I'll be going over all the noteworthy ones that you should keep an eye on, as well as any that could see meta relevance. Starting off with Metang, whose ability allows you to, once during your turn, you may look at the top 4 cards of your deck. Choose any number of basic metal energy you find there and attach them to your Pokemon in any way you like. We already have a card very similar to this in the format, Magnezone, which allows you to look at the top 6 instead of the top 4, so we have some extra energy acceleration for metal decks if they see a resurgence in the format in the coming year. Wugtrio EX has some potential for use in water decks. Its first attack for a single water energy allows you to discard up to 3 energy cards from your hand and choose one of your opponent's Pokemon. This attack does 60 damage to that Pokemon for each energy you discarded this way. This attack is very strong when combined with other cards such as Champao, allowing you to grab 2 water energy from the deck, plus with the energy retrieval cards and cards like Earthen Vessel, accelerating energy into your hand is very easy. Plus the card only says energy cards, so you don't even need to discard basic energy or water energy, just any energy cards. Its second attack is decent, doing 120 damage for 2 water and preventing your opponent's Pokemon from retreating next turn, but the first attack is what makes this Pokemon truly shine. Gengar EX is another card that also has potential. Its ability says, whenever your opponent attaches an energy from their hand to one of their Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. This ability is extremely relevant, as if your Pokemon has already taken some damage, that energy attachment could knock it out, which goes very well with its main attack. For 2 darkness energy, it does 160 damage, and you may move an energy from your opponent's active Pokemon to one of their benched Pokemon. This attack is also very annoying, especially since you may need that energy on the active Pokemon for its attack. Or it could be an energy that you needed in order to retreat that Pokemon from the active. And again, if that Pokemon has taken any damage, your attachment for turn could just knock it out if you are unable to find a switch card. Whimsicott could see some play if grass decks start popping up in the format. Its ability says, once during your turn, when you play this Pokemon to evolve one of your Pokemon, you may use this ability. Heal all damage from your active grass Pokemon, and if you do, discard all energy from that Pokemon. A quick heal for your active or attacker, with the downside of discarding all its energy. However, depending on what kind of grass Pokemon we see in future sets, this could be less of a downside, but more of an upside. We will only have to see, but this card has potential to be good if we see more amazing grass Pokemon in future sets. Incineroar EX is just straight up Radiant Charizard, except its ability isn't based on the number of prize cards your opponent has left, it's based on the number of benched Pokemon your opponent has. Not to mention, it's a stage 2 evolution, so it's a little harder to set up, but its attack has the added benefit of burning the active, and unlike Charizard, it can attack again on the following turn. This card could potentially see some play as a very nice surprise attacker. Farigiraf EX's ability says, prevent all damage done to this Pokemon by attacks from your opponent's basic EX Pokemon. A very nice piece of protection, however it doesn't protect you from Roaring Moon as its main attack doesn't do any damage, it just knocks you out. But with the huge influx of basic EX Pokemon in this set, this Pokemon has potential to see play in stun or control decks, plus its main attack isn't too bad, doing 160 damage and then 30 to one of your opponent's benched Pokemon. Moving on to the trainers and supporter cards. Order Box allows you to search your deck for 2 item cards, reveal them and put them into your hand. This card is okay, however it's potentially brought down a lot because once you use it, your turn automatically ends. It's useful on the first turn of the game since you can't attack, but after that you don't want to waste your turn with this card as you want to start attacking and taking prizes. However, it is a nice consistency boost if the game is going a bit slow. Hand Clippers says both players discard cards from their hand until they both have 5. However, players don't discard if they have 5 or less cards in their hand. This card could actually see some play considering decks such as Lost Box and Gardevoir can have a huge hand of cards after only a couple of turns, so forcing them to discard those cards could put them in a very bad spot. Plus with other decks, forcing them to discard cards, all of which they could potentially need, is an amazing form of disruption. Emergency Board is a card we haven't seen in the format for a while, and back then, it was just as powerful as it is now. The Pokemon this card is attached to pays 1 colourless less to retreat, and if that Pokemon has 30 HP or less, it has no retreat. This card is going to see immediate play. A tool card that gives your Pokemon 1 less retreat cost is going to be vital for some decks. Instead of having to waste an energy attachment or a switch card, you can attach this card instead, and now your Pokemon has free retreat for the rest of the game, until it's knocked out, or something like Lost Vacuum is used. Not only that, but if the Pokemon has 30 HP, it just has free retreat. So if one of your attackers has taken a big hit, you could attach an emergency board and just move it out of harm's way without needing to discard any attached energies. This card, without a doubt, is going to be a staple in almost every deck after the set releases. And our last noteworthy card is Bianca's Sincerity, which heals all damage from one of your Pokemon with 30 HP or less remaining. A very niche card, but has potential use in something like Roaring Moon, since Frenzied Gouging will leave your Pokemon on 30 HP. Combined with Emergency Board, not only will it have free retreat, but then you can fully heal it afterwards. These cards are just a taste of what's to come in Temporal Forces, looking to be a really interesting set to start off the year. Lots of really good cards for players to tinker around with. I already know exactly what cards I'm picking up from this reveal, and we still have more cards to be revealed. If I missed any noteworthy cards from this reveal, please feel free to discuss them in the comments. I've only been playing Pokemon for a few months, so I might have overlooked some potentially incredible cards. Needless to say, Temporal Forces is going to be a great boost to the format, and I can't wait to see what comes from it.